What is up, guys? Welcome back to a new episode of Cozy Talks. In this episode, we have a brand new event, which is Josh Emmett versus Kevin Vallejos at the UFC Apex. Gotta love it. This
Woo,
event
Apex
will be
card.
starting. This event will be starting at regular time, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard, or 5 o'clock if you're on the East Coast, which I highly doubt you are. But anyways, how you feel about this one, Joe?
Uh, Looking over it, it's an Apex card. It's definitely Apex quality. I mean, it does have some pretty decent names in it. So some prospects that I am kind of keen to and a little more interested in. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's on paper, it's going to be an okay card. I feel like that's kind of been the theme for Paramount this year. I feel like we are kind of off to a really slow start for 26 as far as the names. But before we get into it, guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and check out our Discord. I kind of updated this page so that way it's a little more easy to get access to with the QR code. You can screenshot this and then go straight to it. I already tested the link and tested the QR code. It works. So when you get there, just know that you'll instantly have access to our watch parties. You'll have access to the social posts. You'll know when we go live, when we not when we go live, but you'll know when we post on any of our platforms. You'll know what the bet slips are because we don't talk about them on our videos as of right now, but they are in the Discord for you, and they're always going to have updates, so you know how we're doing on these legs and whatnot. And also, we are gamers. We'll chill in there, and there's other stuff. So go check it out. It's free. So there's that. So with that being said, let's get on over into the picks for this card. So first fight of the night: Pierre Rodriguez versus our local favorite, Sam Hughes. Sam Hughes is from Everett, Washington. It's kind of near the area that we're from. Um,
Quick picks.
yeah. Before we do that, let's do the quick pick. Sorry,
Oh,
I'll cut
oh,
around
oh,
it.
oh,
I'll cut around it,
oh,
Z. Fuck, Z.
what?
Fuck. All right. Oh, quick picks. So here we go. Pierre Rodriguez versus Sam Hughes. I'm picking Sam Hughes as the underdog.
Yep. Sam Hughes. She's from Everett, Washington, too. So
Yep. Elijah Smith
gotta go with
versus
the hometown.
Korean
Sorry,
Khabib.
sorry, sorry, sorry.
So Young Yu. What's going on, Z? Did you fucking take a dab, bud?
Okay,
You're trying to
cut
get
all
this
that out.
moving. Jesus
Cut all that
Christ.
out.
All right, yeah. All right, quick picks. Pierre Rodriguez versus Sam Hughes to open up the prelim card. This is the rematch. I'm taking Sam Hughes in the rematch.
Again, guys, if I disagree with Joe, that is the only time I will chirp up.
All right. Elijah Smith versus Su Young Yu, also known as Korean Khabib, is what we call him here. I'm taking Elijah Smith. Bia Mesquita, the BJJ GOAT for women's versus Montse Rendon. I'm taking Bia Mesquita. Luong Lacerda versus the short notice Hetcher Sosa. I'm taking Hetcher Sosa. Belagioki versus Manuel Sosa. I think I'm on Belagioki here. That might sound crazy. I don't know. We'll talk about it more.
Yeah, 100%.
Chris Curtis versus Mitrovic Orlby. I'm taking Mitrovic Orlby. Next fight on the prelims: Brad Tavares, Eric Anders. The Ong's going at it, bro. This is the retirement fight. Eric Anders.
Okay. I gotta go with Brad Tavares here.
All right. Next fight: Bruno Silva versus Charles Johnson, filling in on the. Is it really short notice? I feel like I just saw him fight, so it might be short notice. But if I pick Charles Johnson, hesitantly. Open up the main card. We get Vitor Petrino versus Steven Asplin, the heavyweights going at it. I'm taking Steven Asplin. Next fight: Marwan Rahiki versus the Harry Hardwick that got carded out of the octagon in his last fight here. I'm taking Marwan Rahiki again in this fight. Andre Touchy-Feely from Washington versus Jose Delgado. I'm taking Jose Delgado. Next fight: Umar Sy versus Iwan Kutalaba. I'm taking Umar. I almost had to do a little pump fake there. I'm taking Umar Sy. Next fight, we get the fight to finally happen. These girls were scheduled forever ago. Amanda Lemos versus Jillian Robertson. I'm taking Jillian Robertson. And then the main event: Josh Emmett versus Kevin Vallejos. I'm taking Kevin Vallejos to continue his streak in the UFC and get the win over Josh Emmett. Now, let's get into our breakdowns, quick breakdowns, because as we said, this is kind of prospect, so it's gonna be a little bit quicker. There's not much to really know until we get to the main card. Main card will probably be a little bit more thorough, but we'll do our best here. So this is a rematch. These girls fought. I don't remember how long ago it was. They did fight. I think she beat Sam Hughes 3 years ago. So Sam Hughes was like brand new to the UFC when these girls fought. Uh, and then Sam Hughes obviously changed her camp and whatnot when she started to get more in depth in her career here in the UFC. Um, and she lost. She lost by decision. It was unanimous, but it was a pretty close fight. Um, and I think Sam Hughes has made leaps and bounds in her game since she's been in the UFC. She's on a three fight win streak. She got a split over an undefeated Dudikova. She got a win over Steffi Luciano, which was a pretty good win. And then she comes out and smokes out Shauna Bannon pretty fucking easy. She really dominated that fight, and that's where we were like, okay, I think this is a different Sam Hughes than what we've seen in the past. She was it was a really easy submission win for her. So it makes me like curious. I'm like, okay, is she really like catching on to her finishes, and is she kind of improving? On the other side, I got Pierre Rodriguez. She's kind of like she's kind of just like the doesn't really have the finishing ability, but she'll wrestle to kind of just win time, and she really wants to just like do her best to control you in that kind of way. When she fought Ketlin Souza, that was kind of her game plan, was to really just like lay and pray. She got Ketlin Souza was walking her down, and she definitely was. Megan Rodriguez have to respect the striking game, and I guess her control time did enough for her to get this one. But yeah, my pick is Sam Hughes in this one. I think Sam Hughes will do enough to get the win in the rematch. I think I would hope she would get it done inside the distance. That would really make her stock jump really high. But a win nonetheless. Four fight win streak. In a pretty shallow division, I think is big enough. I think she'll get a top 15 after this fight, regardless if she wins.
Yeah, that would be huge for Sam Hughes, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sam Hughes, I like I've said before, not trying to rinse and repeat what you had said, but I truly do believe Sam Hughes is at a different she's turned a different page in her career here.
Hmm.
In that last fight against Shauna Bannon, there were rumors that this is her last fight on the contract. She needs something big here. The UFC's, talking about letting her go. She went out there and fucking got the finish against Shauna Bannon, which I'm pretty sure Sam Hughes was the underdog in that fight as well. Shauna Bannon, the way she fights, she fights with that weird stance, and she throws those kicks from a long distance. Sam Hughes went in there and just fucking bitched her, bitched her. There's no question about it. I was so happy to see it. Um, but that's what I feel here. I feel like Sam Hughes is at a different point of her career where she's shaping up to be a real contender in this
Hmm.
division. I think after this fight, I completely agree with you. This lines her up for a top 15, possibly top 10 ranked shot. Depends on how she wins this fight. She goes out there and gets this done inside the distance. I easily see Sam Hughes fighting somebody within the top 10,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So give me Sam Hughes here.
Yep. Moving up to the next fight. Z, I'll let you take the reins on this one. Elijah Smith versus Su Young Yu. What do you got?
I got Elijah Smith. I was a little hesitant on this because as big as the phenom is in Elijah Smith, he is only 23 years old going into this fight, and he's going up against Su Young Yu, who you just said is the mini Khabib, or the Korean Khabib. People call him the Korean Khabib.
Yeah.
Uh, even his UFC wins are pretty notable. He has wins over against AJ Cunningham, Long Jiao, which we saw Long Jiao
Low
in
IQ.
this last event. Yeah, so I mean the Long Jiao, it's but AJ Cunningham, he beat AJ Cunningham. I think that's a pretty solid
It's a
win.
respectable win, yeah.
But in this one though, you get Elijah Smith, bro. Elijah Smith is a violent monster in my opinion. I mean, his last fight, man, the dude wanted he wanted no game on the feet against Elijah Smith. So he tried wrestling, tried pulling guard and sitting on his back. And
Well,
Elijah Smith went in and Buddy like wrapped up Elijah Smith, and Elijah Smith couldn't get up. So he just fucking picked Buddy up and slammed him right on his neck and shoulders,
Unconscious.
put him out cold, and gave him one more extra for the ride home. So I got Elijah Smith here. If Elijah Smith were to get a finish in this fight, though, I will be very, very impressed. Very
Mhm.
impressed because I think this is going to be kind of like a high pace type of fight. I see Su Young Yu, trying to implement the grappling and the wrestling. I don't think Su Young Yu could stay on the feet with Elijah Smith. I think Elijah Smith is going to be way too fast and obviously way too fucking powerful. So
Mhm.
I think we see this fight kind of being a grappling exchange. But honestly, expect to see Elijah Smith finish in the later rounds. In my opinion, I think Elijah Smith can get it done inside the distance. If not, obviously, I I go in with Elijah Smith regardless. So
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. These guys are definitely two of those up and coming prospects for the bantamweight division. Both are riding pretty big win streaks coming into this one. Elijah Smith, yeah, his boxing is very very excellent. He's got fast hands. He obviously carries a lot of power, and his wrestling's not bad either. We've seen his wrestling get tested, like you talked about in the Kazama fight, and it is pretty good. I mean, for someone who's only 23 years old, he obviously there's room to improve for everyone, especially when you're that young. So Young Yu, I mean, that's what he's known for is his wrestling. His wrestling is really really good. He's kind of the opposite. He's really good at the wrestling, but he's pretty on the feet with the striking. And I think Elijah Smith is really going to pick him apart and do enough to either get a decision win or a late finish, like you just said. I agree with you there. So give me Elijah Smith in this one as well. Next fight, another women's bout. We got the bantamweight women's. We got Bia Mosqueda versus Montse Redone. So Bia Mosqueda, the lady goat. If you look at her record on Topology, her record is very decorated. She's a very credentialed BJJ competitor, and that's what she's been doing here in MMA is just choking chicks out and just taking them to the ground and doing what she does best. Montserrat down on the other side, she's 36 years old, and you can still, I guess, kind of consider her a prospect even at that age because her record is only 7-1. But last time we talked about her inactivity. She was out almost 2 years before she got the win over short notice Alice Pereira, who was 19, by the way, or 20, whatever it was, a very young fighter. And you went to a split decision with someone who's very unpolished. You kind of get another example of an unpolished girl in Bia Mosqueda, but I would say she's more unpolished in the striking because her ground game's obviously elite. And I think if you try to grapple or hug against the cage, be a mosquito, you're probably going to get your neck snatched. So give me be
yeah,
a mosquito in this one. I mean, there's not much to talk about here, but I will just say if this does get to the ground or get into the later rounds and Montserrat starts to show signs of fatigue, I think be a mosquito is gonna probably push the pace and get this to the ground and then probably get a late finish. So give me be a mosquito in this one.
yeah. I mean, looking back at Bia's last fight against Irina Aliskava, or whatever the fuck her last name is,
Esquiva.
Aliskiva. Bia, Aliskiva's a striker herself.
Hmm.
She's more of a stand and bang type of fighter. Bia fucking took her down and dominated on the ground until she found that submission.
Hmm.
I think it'll be a little hard against Rendon because Rendon is obviously a fighter who has not been finished. Her only loss is by decision.
Hmm.
But I do see a possible finish here for the Lady Goats.
Yeah.
Um, that's all I have on this fight. Not like just like you said, Joe. Not a whole lot on this fight, and I'm gonna be honest. Not a whole lot on this next fight either. We have Lewin Lacerenda versus Hetcher Sosa. You said Hetcher Sosa stepping in on short notice in this fight?
When I was reading through the news, I just saw that he was one of the fighters that got replaced for. Rini Nakamura pulled out, and he's the guy that's in here. I don't know how short notice it is, but he is one of the guys that is stepping in to replace another fighter. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like I said, there's not a whole lot that I know personally on these two fighters here, but obviously this Hetcher Sosa guy is, especially as stepping in on short notice, he's pretty fucking good. He's stepping in on short notice and he's a moderate favorite over
yeah,
minus 200.
yeah.
Uh, I don't like I said, I don't really have a whole lot. to say on this. Sosa came off of the Contender Series, got a decision win. He is 14-1, which is pretty crazy.
Pretty
And
impressive.
the
He's off.
bantamweight, and yeah, pretty no, really impressive in the bantamweight division as well.
Mm,
You know, and what is his loss? By knockout. That's I'd expect to see a couple more finishes on there, just to be honest, because bantamweight is one of those divisions where you got some pretty violent, nasty, fucking one punch finishers in there.
mm. Yeah,
And I don't really have much to say about the other guy. He lost to Damian Blackshear fucking almost 3 years ago, and he's coming off a win against Simon Oliveira,
yeah.
a submission win.
Yeah, it's one of the points I was going to talk about was Lucerda. He was out of the game for quite a while, over 2 years, over 2.5 years, whatever. And then he comes in, gets a win over Simon Oliveira, who I would rate very shit. He's the guy who David Martinez fought. He's a guy
Uh, to
who,
put it
yeah,
to
he's
put it
another guy
this
who was
way,
very inactive.
Simon Oliveira is currently on a 4-fight losing streak, and 3 of them are by finish.
Yeah, yeah. So we expect nothing less from Luis Lucerda there. I mean, anyways, fighting Simon Oliveira, it feels like they should get the win, hopefully. Other side, Hetra Sosa, he's riding a pretty big win streak right now, and he's coming off a Contender Series, got a decision win over Maxon Lee, who was another pretty good prospect on the Contender Series that would have probably also made a big splash here in the UFC. But we got Hetra Sosa here, and I think Hetra Sosa is going to do enough in this one to probably get the finish. Um, like I said, he's a short notice guy, so I mean, I am a little worried about the gas tank. But as you can see from his record, he is very well rounded. He does get the finishes. He has 3 by sub, 6 by KO. He's been in the scorecards 5 times, so we know that he's more than capable to make it 3 rounds. Luan Lacerda, I just don't know how I feel. Seeing a guy who was out for, like I said, over 2 years, comes back, gets a win over a very, very low IQ fighter. Um, I don't know. I'm pretty curious to see how this one plays out. Lacerda, obviously, he's most of his wins are by submission. Um, but Hetra Sosa, like I said, he's pretty well rounded. I think Hetra Sosa can do enough if this fight stays standing to either find the finish or just make Lacerda miserable for 3 rounds. So give me Hetra Sosa in this one. Let's move on to our next fight. We know these guys pretty well. Well, we know Bellagioki. Bellagioki versus Manuel Sosa. What do you got, Z?
Okay, I don't know if anybody noticed it, but when we were going over the quick picks, I was a little hesitant when you had said Balaji Oki in this fight.
Okay.
I know Balaji Oki has power. I know he has power in his hands, and he has some pretty nice striking. Um, But I gotta go with this other guy. I gotta go with Manuel Sosa. I gotta go with Manuel Sosa in this fight. I think Manuel Sosa will be able to go in there. I think he'll be able to match the pace that Oki will be coming out with, because Oki got finished his last fight. I would be expecting Oki to kind
Yeah.
of come back out there and seek a little bit of vengeance. Oki
Mm.
did look good in his last fight against Mason Jones. That was a little bit of a sweat fest because I had Mason Jones inside the distance, and Mason Jones did get it. I think in the third round. Yeah, it was
It's
it was
pretty
a little
late.
bit of a sweat fest. But overall, Manuel Sosa, he has a little bit of a all like well-rounded type of fighter going on there. He has submission wins, he has knockout wins. I see him going out there and dominating this fight against Oki. I think Oki is gonna come out though and try to push a pace. At the end of the day, it just depends on how Sosa takes that. But I have confidence in Sosa getting it done based off the fact that he's been in a few of these like high set stage fights, kind of. I know the Apex isn't that crazy, but
Yeah.
to be fair, it's still UFC. You're still fighting on a UFC card. The lights aren't that bright, the crowd isn't that big, but you're still I mean, fuck, we saw Denzel Freeman freeze up in the fucking Apex. So um
Yeah.
yeah, Souza, he was on Bellator, he was on PFL, he fought on LFA, he was on the Contender Series, won by finish in round 3. I think this one could possibly go the same way. I see a late finish for Manuel Sosa here.
Okay. Yeah, the reason I'm on the side of Bellagioki is probably just because of the UFC experience. He's been in the UFC for a while now. He is a contender series winner. Um, but ever since he's been in, he's been win loss. And if that pattern continues, he's due for a win. Because he's off of a loss, like we just talked about to Mason Jones. And Mason Jones is very good. Mason Jones is one of the lightweights that I am pretty interested in. I think he's gonna at some point this year gonna make a decent run.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, Manuel Sosa on the other side, he's coming off the contender series. He got a win over Christian Perez, and if anyone watched that, I watched that and I remember it because Manuel Sosa was down. You could argue he was probably down 2-0 in this fight, and this was I think this was a third round finish or a late second round finish,
It
but
was a third round
and
finish.
it was due to Perez just like being totally just fucking fatigued and smoked. And Sosa did what he had to do. He knew he was down two rounds, and he went and got the finish. So, I mean, if Vallejos can, you know, not gas out and stay off his back, because that's definitely his weakness, is his wrestling is pretty subpar, and that's where Mason Jones went out and discovered that that was really the way to win it, because I think it was the second round or it was late first round, and then all of second round he was working the wrestling, and then the third round he got the finish because he was like, yeah, he just shit on the ground.
Yeah.
So depending on what kind of brutes we got at Bellagioki, that's where I'm curious about. He is a pretty massive underdog, and it makes sense because Manuel Sosa does have quite a few finishes by submission, and Bellagioki obviously that's been kind of proven to be a weakness is when he just gets stuck on the ground. So we'll kind of just see where it is. I'm taking a pretty big shot. I mean, he's plus 285, so we'll see. On to the next fight. This is probably funny enough. This is probably the fight I'm most excited for, and it's kind of crazy. This is a prelim fight on an Apex card. We got Chris Curtis and Mitzvah Orlbai. My pick is definitely Mitzvah Orlbai. Mitzvah Orlbai. He's kind of been whatever for the UFC. I mean, he's fought up, he's fought down, he's fought at catch weights. His most recent win was against Jack Hermanson, starched Hermanson against the cage. And that was a Hermanson that was already coming off of a loss to Robocop, and then steps in and fights Orlbai. And Orlbai delivered. Orlbai is he's a very interesting welterweight prospect. He's coming out of Kyrgyzstan. He's only 28 years old, and he is well into his prime. I mean, like he's insane. I think he's gonna probably finish Chris Curtis, to be honest with you. Chris Curtis, he's a guy who fought up a weight class above welterweight. He was a middleweight, and now he's fighting down. And that's usually not what you want to do when you're this old. You're 38 years old. You should be fighting up, but Chris Curtis kind of carries a bit of that long frame, and he doesn't fill out as well at 185. So I get why he's back down at 170, but he has been fighting some of just the dogs. He fought Brendan Allen, who would I consider him a dog? I don't know. I mean, he's top 10. He just beat Rainer
I
DeRitter last time
okay,
out. I don't know.
after Brendan Allen's last few fights, yes.
Yeah,
Brendan Allen is a dog.
yeah. He fought Roman Kopolov, who was definitely a dog, and is just a nasty kickboxer, fast hands. Um, was the stoppage early in that fight, Z? I can't remember. I didn't watch this fight, to be honest with
Mm-mm,
you. I watched
mm-mm.
had the highlights of
It
it.
was very late. It was very, very, very late. But Kopylov hit him with a fucking nasty head kick, and Chris Curtis was just until
Yeah,
they stopped the fight.
yeah. I mean, it makes sense. And then he's coming off a win over Max Griffin, and Max Griffin is like pretty poo. uh, just as far as like the UFC,
He's pretty poo. He's
pretty
just pretty
poo.
poo.
That's how I
That's
like
all
to
you need
say
to
that.
know.
Yeah. And so Mitzvah Orlbai, I think he's just the more proven fighter at this stage of his career. Chris Curtis, he's kind of on his way out. He is one of the guys who trains in the same gym as Sean Strickland. So I mean, he is a great training partner for Strickland and them. But Orlbai is just he's just a different kind of fighter. I think if I had to say what my future bets were, if I were to go and make them, I would probably say Orlbai for me would be breaking top 15, easy, maybe even top 10. He's one of those guys who I rate very highly, and he's definitely on his way up.
Well, one thing I've started to notice is when we start to see matchups like this where they're so close in rankings, on the worldwide rankings, or just like
The topology.
outside of the top 15 of the UFC. Um, I usually see whoever wins this fight, goes on and fights a ranked opponent or gets another dude who's getting just that close to fighting in the rankings, and then they eventually move on. I
Yeah,
really do believe though that if Matebek Orobai were to
Mitipik
go out
Urbay.
here and get the win over Chris Curtis, he's gonna be fighting for a ranked position pretty soon.
I mean, man,
Um,
it's such a stacked division. I mean, just reading the
it really
names is
is.
crazy.
It really is. The thing I will say about Chris Curtis though is if Orobai had no grappling and just a smidgen of wrestling, I'd be picking Chris Curtis here. That's the type
Mm.
of fight that you want to see Chris Curtis in, is when it's type of like that stand and bang, throw kicks, jabs, and a couple of combos here and there. Chris Curtis is literally a black older version of Sean Strickland. I mean, like you said, they're training partners. I've seen multiple videos of them just sparring, just straight
Just
hard
going at
sparring
it.
for more than an hour. Um, but Matej Orobai is one of those just violent, just devastating fighters that will just walk you down and will. I see Orobai getting in there. I see Chris Curtis trying to implement his striking. Trying to do the same shit as Sean Strickland. He might be a little defensive at first with when it comes to the takedowns, but as soon as Orobai gets that takedown, I think it's pretty much wraps. It's pretty much cut and dry. I see Orobai just drowning Curtis on the ground,
Mm.
even on the feet as well. I think Orobai will be able to break that gap and really break Curtis's guard,
Hmm.
and he really be able to get in there. Honestly, because you look at Orobai, yeah, he's a scary looking fucking dude. He looks like one of the Mongolians that ran through China back in the day. But I don't really see a whole lot of like I wouldn't look at Orobai and be like, he has some crazy knockout power. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But believe it or not, he has some fucking power in his hands.
yeah,
I think
and he's got a good ground game. He's got a great submission game.
he has great he's great all around. He's great
Hmm.
all around. Is his striking like very technical? No. When he touches, does he fucking hurt you? Yes.
Hmm.
I think I think Orobai will get this done inside the distance. I really think he will. I think Chris Curtis is gonna get stumped, and he's gonna continue on that game plan of kind of standing straight up, using that shoulder, teep kicks, jab, 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 jab. Nah, Orobai's gonna break that shit. He's gonna break that shit, and I got Orobai inside the distance here.
All right, let's move on to our next fight on the prelims. Brad Tavares and Eric Anders, the Unks going at it. I just talked about this. We'll make this short and sweet. Say why you're picking Brad Tavares. I'll tell you why I'm picking Eric Anders. You don't need a
I'm only
breakdown on these
going
guys. Just
what
know that they're old and they
whatever,
stink.
whatever. Yeah, you honestly, I don't even want to give a fucking breakdown on this. I'm going with Brad Tavares because I just think Brad Tavares is going to be the more durable fighter in this. Brad Tavares it was a hard fight for all of his losses, to be honest, against Park. Well, maybe not against RoboCop, but
Yeah,
the Park fight and the Robert Breszczyk fight. Breszczyk knocked him out in the third fucking round. Brad Tavares is just one of those dudes who's very durable. Eric Anders, I can't really say the same for him. Saw him just get absolutely bitched by CLD.
yeah. I'll tell you
I
the
got,
simple reason for
yeah.
my lean on Eric Anders. He has more KO wins. Brad Tavares has been KO'd 6 times. Um, in 32 fights, it's not a very good hit rate. Just be knocked out 6 times, but you got to take your shot somewhere. So two old fuckers going at it. I mean, Brad Tavares has been in the UFC for a long time, man. He's 38 years old. Eric Anders, I don't know how long he's been in. Has he been in it that long? I mean, he's old. He's 38, but has he been in UFC that long too? Yeah, he's been in for since 2017. So I mean, he's been in for quite a while too. I mean, yeah, Eric Anders. I mean, when he fought CLD, he already was talking about his retirement, how he already has a gym open and whatnot. So I'm surprised that he's actually even still in the UFC because he talked about that in the CLD fight. So I thought he was done for the CLD fight.
I mean, this is probably the only fight he would have taken is against
Yeah,
another dude who's in their late 30s and is on their way out.
yeah,
But like you said, this is the Unk fight. Let's move the fuck on.
yep.
This
Next
one
fight.
though, shut up, Joe.
It's your
This
turn. It's
one
your turn.
I'm actually very interested in. I'm actually very interested in this one, Joe. Bruno Silva versus Charles Johnson. And the reason why I'm interested in this is because Bruno Silva looked like a fucking dog in his last fight against Park.
We watched that
Hyung
live.
Sung Park. Yeah, we watched it live and Silva absolutely bitched him.
Yeah, we were in Vancouver for this fight. Um,
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna stick with my original pick. I'm gonna go with Charles Johnson. I think Charles Johnson can knock out Bruno Silva. To be honest, I think Charles Johnson. Hopefully he doesn't get caught the way he did against fucking Perez. I don't think Bruno Silva is the same way as Alex Perez. I think Johnson will be able to keep his distance. I would hope he keeps his distance because it looks like he's pretty fucking chinnable.
mhm.
When he's moving around like that inside your range.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I would
uh,
say.
uh, uh, give me Bruno Silva, bro. Give me Bruno Silva. I'm taking the pick flip. I am flipping on this fight. Give me Bruno Bulldog Silva to beat Charles Energy Johnson. Bruno Silva, I really think Bruno Silva turned a page in his career. I don't know after those two losses, after losing to Manel Kopp, getting bitched by Kopp, and then getting bitched by Van, he had to have figured something out because the way he got bitched by both those dudes, like he got
They're top. They're top. They're top of the fucking food chain, though. So I
e-
mean,
e-
it's understandable.
exactly. It is 100% understandable. It is 100% understandable. But then he gets another dude who you look at the paper and you're like, oh, Hung Sung Park is up here compared to Bruno Silva, especially after watching that fight with Tatsuro Taira. I was like, holy shit, Hung Sung Park is fucking fast as shit. He's fast as fucking lightning. He's
Mhm.
faster than a crackhead who sees a nickel down the fucking block. I think Bruno Silva, though, bro. I think Bruno Silva is going to be here to play. And I'm not saying Charles Johnson isn't at that high elite level of like strikers. I really do like Charles Johnson's striking.
Mhm.
Um, but I think Bruno Silva might be a little bit of a problem for Charles Johnson here.
Yeah,
And that is why I'm pig flipping and I'm going with the underdog in this fight. I'm going with Bruno Silva. You know, yeah, he lost to these two dudes who you just said are at the top of their division. But then he gets guys who are around his level or on paper a little bit higher than him and he finishes them. I think that's another thing that people forget about is Bruno Silva's finished almost all of his opponents in the UFC. He's only lost twice by decision and then twice by Joshua Van and Manel Kopp.
yeah,
And to be fair, that is one thing I completely ignored as well. And I was going off of the fact that he gets bitched by Kopp and he gets bitched by Van. But now seeing that he turns it around after those two fights and goes and kills a prospect who was very, very, I wouldn't say like really popular amongst the fans, but like if you were really looking at some of the stats on the paper, watching that fight with Tatsuro Taira, Hong Sung Park, you would think that Park would be a very, very high contender in that division. Well, he gets Bruno Silva and Bruno Silva bitches him.
mm.
So yeah, I'm pick flipping. I'm going with Bruno Silva in this fight.
All right. I'll make it short. I'll make it short and sweet for you guys. So the reason I'm on Charles Johnson is because I'm playing MMA math. Charles Johnson knocked out Joshua Van. Who did Joshua Van knock out? Bruno Silva. All right. Charles Johnson is the prospect killer, but the one thing I will note, and the reason why I do partially agree with Z on this Bruno Silva pick, but I'm still going to stay on the Charles Johnson side because I believe in Charles Johnson, is Charles Johnson has a hard time fighting veterans. He is like notably good against these younger fighters. And I mean, he has a track record of it. I mean, he beat Loner Kavanaugh, and we just saw Loner Kavanaugh beat fucking Brandon Moreno. And he lost to Ramazan Temirov, but Temirov popped for roids. We talked about that last time that we saw him on here. But losing to Alex Perez is a pretty bad loss. I will definitely say it's a bad loss. But he got clipped on the ear. It's one of those things that just happens. You get punched in a weird way, and it fucking knocks your whole equilibrium off. It's a great punch, and that's just unfortunate. He stayed alive as long as he could in that fight. But yeah, I think this fight's probably gonna hit the scorecards. I don't see either of these guys finishing each other. So I mean, this fight going the distance seems very likely, and I'm hoping Charles Johnson comes out on top because whenever he
Okay,
goes to the scorecards, he loses almost as much as he wins on the scorecards.
I'm not gonna lie though, that is kind of a crazy take. You don't think that there could be a finish in this fight, Joe?
Uh, I don't know. I mean, they both have been finished, and I mean, if I question anyone's durability, I probably question Charles Johnson just because he's coming off of the knockout loss, and it's kind of a short turnaround. So that's
I
kind
mean,
of
I
why
mean,
I'm a little worried. But
look at it this way. Both of these fighters combined, both of their combined last five, there's only two decisions, and Charles Johnson has gone twice to decision in his last five.
yeah,
Won once and then lost the second time against Timarov, which you just said pop for roids. I don't know, man. I don't know. I really do think that there could possibly be a finish in this fight. I really do believe that there could be a finish in this.
yeah. At the end of the day, this
But
is just early prediction, guys. So things are
yeah,
bound to change. I could be picking Bruno Silva by Friday. We'll see. These are early predictions. This is what we're thinking right now. Next fight, open up the main card: Vitor Petrino and Steven Asplin. I mean, Vitor Petrino has looked really good up at heavyweight. I mean, it's not really saying much because heavyweight is really kind of shit right now. But yeah, he's on a 2 fight win streak. Beat Austin Lane, beat Thomas Peterson, and this fight he didn't really look that great in, to be honest with you. Um, I mean, in general, Vitor Petrino doesn't look great. I mean, this guy has a very low fucking fight IQ. We saw him get smoked by Dustin Jacoby, and then we saw him lose to fucking Anthony Smith when he was undefeated, and Anthony Smith kind of just like threw up a Hail Mary guillotine. On the other side, you got
not
Steve.
even, not even. It
What
was in the first. It was in the first round. It was in the first round. Vitor Petrino, his dumbass
he
thought
shot like a
that
takedown,
Anthony
didn't he?
Smith. Yeah, he shot a double leg, and Anthony Smith was like, "Oh, is that your neck?" And
Yeah,
then just
snatch.
fucking snatched it.
Yeah, yeah. And Steven Asplin, I mean, he has one loss, and it was to fucking Denzel Freeman, who we just talked about. But not talk about in the card, but just talk about in general. I mean, he's been in the UFC, and he's going off for the loss to Josh Rocket. But Steven
Okay,
Asplin,
okay, okay, okay. Hold on. That was LFA Denzel Freeman. UFC Denzel Freeman has been fucking
yeah,
dog ass.
yeah.
LFA Denzel Freeman was a fucking
Apparently, he was a
monster
demon.
versus,
Yeah,
yeah, he was a fucking demon, but I don't know what the fuck happened.
yeah. Yeah, the thing about this fight is it kind of worries me that it's because it's an Apex fight. We know Apex has been the smaller octagon. Vitor Petrino does grapple. He just got his BJJ black belt, and we know that that can kind of be the weakness to Steven Asplin. But what I will say is that it's gone viral. Vitor Petrino injured his right hand, and he talked about it like a month ago. He has not been training with his right hand at all because he injured it. So I'm wondering if it's still going to be a problem in this fight if he does try to strike with Steven Asplin, which is what you don't want to do. Steven Asplin, yes, he looks flabby, but that dude has the most, probably some of the most insane like striking and like the most fast hands, and everything about him is just insane. You look at him and you don't expect anything, but he comes out and he just fucking just pieces up. He just smokes Sean Sharaf, and Sean Sharaf surprised me with how long he stayed alive in that fight because that whole fight. I
Yeah,
mean, Steve
yeah.
Asplin threw like 110 punches in that fight, and I could say all those fucking could have put anyone out. So it was a very impressive win, and then he got the win over Anthony Carrasco in the Contender Series 5 months ago. I think Asplin gets this done. I mean, he's one of my dog picks for the week, and I'm hoping he gets the win, dude. I think it's gonna be so big for him.
I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it, but I think Steven Asplin's gonna win by decision here.
I mean, yeah, he's got great conditioning. And Vitor Petrino, I mean, I would say he's kind of the opposite. He's kind of if he doesn't get it done in 2 rounds, he really just fucking just
Yeah,
he's pretty.
I want.
I don't know. I mean, just as a prospect in general, he's very unimpressive in my eyes.
I want to say this real quick because I did not notice it. I was just looking at some of their records. I went to go look at Denzel Freeman. Denzel Freeman retired after he got bitched by Josh Hokick.
He called it a career.
I go look at his Tapology. It says retirement round one. So
Oh, so oh
that
he's
might
so oh yeah,
that,
because Hawkett threw up the middle finger and Buddy like stumbled to his fucking corner
yeah.
and they
Yeah.
called it
So
after that fight.
I
Yeah.
I don't know why they say retirement. Like what? But I feel like retirement. Like I don't know. That's just what I saw. Does that mean Denzel Freeman retired? Anyways, the Denzel Freeman hate will not stop. Uh, in this fight, I got Steven Asplin, Vitor Petrino, exactly like you said, Joe. I mean, he's had some crazy finishes. You know, he fucking the way he knocked out Peterson was fucking nasty. It was very nasty. Was it long overdue? Yes, it was. He could have finished Peterson fucking first round if he wanted to, but he dragged it all the way out to the third round. Um, Austin Lane, you got to finish Austin Lane in my opinion. Other than that, I mean, hasn't really been all too impressive. Steven Asplin, though, I really like Steven Asplin. He looks like the big monkey from Attack on Titan. He's badass. I like the way he talks. I like the way he carries himself. He's just a motherfucker who likes to go in there and just fight and get his bag and go home to his kids. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that type of shit. So yeah, give me Steven Asplin. I think Steven Asplin's gonna go in there. I think it's gonna be a real tough fight though. You know, Steven Asplin's he's getting an opponent who is a little bit more battle hardened than a lot of the opponents that he's fought. So this will be really interesting to see because this is obviously a test for Steven Asplin.
Yes.
More than it is a good matchup slash test for Vitor Petrino. If I
Mhm.
were Vitor Petrino, I would see this kind of as kind of disrespectful. I mean, yeah, Steven Asplin is an upcoming dude. There's a lot of hype behind his name. He's young. He's only 27. He does not
Yeah.
look 27. He looks like he's fucking 38,
Yeah.
pushing pushing a fucking Ford F-350 with the construction brand on the side.
Yeah.
He looks like a foreman, bro. He looks like he smokes cigarettes and drives a fucking forklift, Steven Asplin. Not forklift, excavator, Steven
Yeah.
Asplin. And that's why I like him, bro.
He looks like a normal dude.
He looks like a normal fucking dude. And obviously he was really overweight at one point. That's why you were talking about the flabs. He's really flabby.
Mm.
But like that's the type of cool shit I like to see. You know,
Yeah, good
when people
underdog
really
story.
turn people really turn their life around and then this is where they're at now. So
Yeah.
with all that being said, give me Steven Asplin.
Yeah.
Give me the underdog in this fight.
Yeah, I think a win does get him a ring shot too. I think he's
Oh,
more than deserving. I mean,
100%.
Josh
I mean,
Hockett just got a matchup with Curtis Blades, top five. But
I
Josh
didn't
Hockett's also
why'd you have to remind me of that, bro? Like
yeah.
why? First of all, Bo Nichols on the fucking White House card. Bo Nichols on the White House card, and Josh Hockett is fighting a fucking ranked number 4 Curtis Blades.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yep. Next fight up on the main card, we got Marwan Rahiki versus the returning Harry Hardwick. Last time we saw Harry Hardwick, he was a step in against Callie Fernandez, and if anyone's ever seen it, there's like a clip of Harry Hardwick getting carted out in that fight because he got his legs kicked fucking so many times in that fight, and he couldn't walk out of the cage or out of the octagon. Marwan Rahiki, he's undefeated. He's coming off contender series, and he got a very impressive win in that one. He is a guy who is, I would say, he's pretty durable. I mean, he's held up.
Pretty durable.
Yeah, he's
Pretty
pretty
durable.
durable, but he's also a guy who gets a lot of finishes. Right, 7 wins, 7 finishes.
All of his wins are by finish.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
of his wins are by finish. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off here, Joe, but to add on top of what Joe's saying here, Rihiki is not just pretty fucking durable. He is a fucking durable, bro. In his fight on the contender series, he got dropped. He got dropped and rocked bad. Bad.
yeah,
He was laying on the floor like a fucking piece of chalk line.
yeah.
And the dude that he was fighting against, Malumba, he got on top of him. I was so shocked to see Rahiki get back up from that. And then to continue to take those heavy punches from Malumba after he had gotten knocked down. What did Rahiki go and do?
Fucking
He went
bitched
and
him.
fucking finished that fight. He went and finished that fight. So just to add on top of what you were saying,
Yeah,
Rahiki, that kid is 23 years old, bro. Almost gets
and all I see.
killed.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think he's gonna Is he going to finish Harry Hardwick? I would believe so. I think he keeps the streak alive against a Harry Hardwick who we just saw get finished. I mean, it was quite a while ago, 6 months ago. But Harry Hardwick, he's not very impressive in my eyes. I think his striking defense is pretty subpar. And I think Marvin Rehiki's going to find a lot of holes in it. I think he is going to take a lot of shots to the body. I think he is also going to beat up Harry Hardwick's legs again because once you see a weakness like that and you get finished by something like as small as that, like you don't see a lot of guys get finished by leg kicks. It's not as common as you would think for how much damage it does. Because usually when you get kicked in the legs a few times, you start to check it. You start to be like, okay, no more of that shit. But I think Rahiki is going to be the better fighter wherever this fight goes. But I think as long as it stays standing, I think he definitely has a chance to finish Hardwick and keep his finish streak alive. So give me Rahiki inside the distance in this one.
Oh, this is one thing. Hold on. Okay, yeah, this is one thing to mention. Harry Hardwick is moving down a weight class here. His last fight was at lightweight. Harry
What's this
Hardwick
at?
is moving down to featherweight.
Oh, what the heck? It's a featherweight fight? Yeah.
Yeah, so Harry Hardwick is moving down a weight class. But I'm just gonna add a little bit on top of what I said.
Huh.
Marwin Freaky Rahiki.
Riki Rahiki. Not a
This
good
kid's only
name.
23 years old, bro. He's only 23 years old, and I really like what I saw in his Contender Series fight. I'm gonna go and watch a couple of his old fights. I just want to watch them, but like based on it, like yes, he has a lot of these finishes, but like even in that fight against Malumba, after he had gotten rocked, it wasn't like he was rushing for a get back. You
Right.
know what I mean? He wasn't like leaving himself exposed, going for those crazy haymakers, trying to get his get back. He stayed composed. He stayed composed until he was able to fucking get back on get fully recuperated and fucking proceed in with the fight. And he implemented his game plan after getting almost finished.
Mhm.
And then goes and finishes the guy that almost bitched him in round one.
Yeah.
That's just a little bit more cherries on top of this little cupcake. I really think Marvin Rahiki though. I really think he's gonna finish Harry Hardwick. Uh, how? TKO. I think I
Yeah.
think
I think
Rahiki. I
TKO.
think I think Rahiki's gonna be calm and patient in round one, just a little bit. We might see a couple of big explosions from him, and if it goes into round two, give me freaky Rahiki round two finish.
Yep. All right. Next fight.
The next,
You got this one, Z.
yeah, give it to me.
I want you, Papa.
This next fight, we got Andre Touchy Feely versus Jose Delgado. I hate to say it because I am a fan of Andre Feely. I like the dude. I like the way he lives his life. I like the way he presents himself on social media. He has really badass fucking tattoos. He's a cool ass fucking dude. But I'm going with Jose Delgado. I'm going with Jose Delgado in this fight. I think honestly, Jose Delgado is gonna knock out Andre Feely. Um, Andre Feely's last fight, I mean, it's not that good in my opinion. You got to win off a C-Rod. You lose to Costa. Okay, Costa's surging right now. So I mean, that aged well. That finish, as disappointed as I was to see it in Seattle, it aged well because if you go for a little bit further down after he beat Cub Swanson, he gets knocked out by Dan Ige. Well, Costa went and fucking bitches Dan Ige, which completely fucking shocked me.
Mm.
And then on the other side, you have Jose Delgado, which I think it was his first loss in the UFC. His first loss in the UFC was against Nathaniel Wood. I wouldn't say that's a bad loss. Nathaniel Wood beat Morgan Charrier. Um, yeah, that's not too bad of a loss for Jose Delgado. Lost on the scorecards, but every other fight, Jose Delgado's been bitching dudes. Contender Series, knockout. Next fight, debut, knockout. Fight after that, knockout against Hyder Hamil. Hyder Hamil, who was on a fucking
Another undefeated guy.
tornado. Well, yeah, he was undefeated and he was on a tornado coming into the UFC, just bitching dudes left and right. And Jose Delgado goes out there and just gives him
It was
right
round
to the
one.
fucking dome. Yeah, right to the dome and just puts him out. I think in this one, I think it'll be the same as like I was talking about in the last one. We'll see a little bit more calm, collected, composed Jose Delgado in this fight. Give me a round two finish, or maybe a late round one finish from Jose Delgado. I think Jose Delgado is gonna go in there and he's gonna touch Andre Touchy Feely right on the
You
chin,
gotta touch
just
him.
like just like Dan Ige did, in my opinion. Jose Delgado got some nasty fucking power, dude. He got some nasty power, and the way Andre Feely's been chinned, yeah, I gotta go with Jose Delgado. Andre Feely, I love you, brother, but
It's
I
your
got Jose
time.
Delgado.
It's your time. Yeah, yeah. I'm going to build off what Z said. I agree. My pick in this one is also Jose Delgado. The thing about Andre Fili, he is an excellent striker in the sense that he has a great jab and he knows how to like kind of keep his range. But Jose Delgado is a very fast. He kind of moves really like smooth around the octagon. He can really cut off a lot of angles, and his striking is pretty creative, and it also does carry a lot of power. And so I also agree. I think this one is going to be done inside the distance, and it probably will be a little early. Maybe round, like I said, round one, maybe early round two. But yeah, I think Delgado is going to come out and put a stamp on it. And it sucks to say because Feely is a local, another Washington guy, so it's not something I look forward to
Though
seeing.
though Philly doesn't represent it, we have found
Oh
some
yeah, what
things.
the heck?
We have found some things that I don't know. He lived in Washington. He's
It was a
from
federal
Federal
way.
Way.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was the biggest thing that I saw was that he was from Federal Way, or is that he has ties to Federal Way.
yeah.
But that was pretty much it.
All right. Anyway, moving on to the next fight up on the main card. We got Umar Sai versus Iwan Kudalaba. I was kind of hesitant in this one a little bit at first, just thinking about it because Kudalaba is just a freak. But Umar Sai, I mean, just for what he is, it makes a little more sense to just lean his way. I mean, yeah, his one loss was a pretty shit loss to Alonzo Manafield, and it was a decision loss. Because Umar Sai is weird, man. He's a big ass light heavyweight, but like he likes to wrestle. And looking at him, you'd be like, man, he probably carries a lot of fucking power. And from what I remember, like, yeah, he gets knockouts and he gets submissions, but he's like, he kind of just like kill you by the jab, right? He's just like
Ooh,
a
Kutalaba.
no Sai. Like I don't remember
Yeah.
much film on Sai, but I remember him being like just more like a kickboxer
Well,
who doesn't like
yeah.
have a lot of power.
He does have a little bit of power. Like the way he sat down Ribeiro in his last fight, he sat him down. He sat him down, got on top of it.
And
That
won
was
you a lot of
another thing that
money.
I was, yeah, it won me a lot of money, and that was one scared of was Omar Sy was gonna go in there and try to snatch his neck because Brandon Ribeiro he was like this with his hand, both of his hands just flat on the fucking on
Yeah,
the mat with his neck just straight out. I really thought Omar Sy was gonna get on top and try to choke him out, but he stayed on top and fucking pounded him out.
yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off there.
But yeah, I mean, you can never really count out Kudalaba. Kudalaba is a guy who's been in the UFC for a long time, and on his 2 win streak right here, when he beat Even Urslan, and then we saw him beat Yu Aslan at Seattle. Um, I thought he was kind of like on like a bounce back in his career. I thought he kind of revived it a bit because he is young. He's only 32, but he's been in the UFC basically like his whole adult life. Lost him out, lost to Bukowskis on a split, and it was a pretty close split. Bukowskis, I want to say Bukowskis should have lost that. I could be wrong. I really have to go rewatch that fight. But
It was
yeah,
really close. That fight was really, really close.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Kudalaba, we know he has great wrestling, and Umar Sy might be one of those guys that wants to try and test that and see where this fight goes. I think he is going to have the advantage on the feet. However, I think as long as to stay standing, he is going to have a big advantage. And I think as long as he's the one to initiate the grappling, I'm kind of intrigued to see how this fight goes. If you can get Kudalaba down and kind of assert his dominance on the ground and hunt for submissions because like I said, he does have submission wins. I'm curious. I am very curious. Um, yeah, he's a longer, taller fighter. So I mean, I think the being on the feet, it's a big deal. And I think Umar Sy will win this one on the scorecards.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, that's exactly what I'm feeling. I really do think Omar Sy is. I feel like at some point in this fight, I really feel like Umar Sy is gonna look like he's drowning.
Yeah,
You know, it looks like he's gonna look like he's stuck, like a deer in the headlights. Um, I'm sorry, guys. I'm really on the fucking fine line on this fight
you're not about to
because
flip, are you?
all right, you know
Uh,
what? Joe was the fucking straw that broke the camel's back. I am going with Ion
well,
Cutelaba in this fight. I think Ion the
the
Hulk
Hulk.
Cutelaba is going to win this fight. The only reason why I say that, the reason why I say that is because I see Umar Sy gassing out. I see Umar Sy gassing out, and Ion Cutelaba, yeah, he's screaming in that picture right there.
He's a very pressure based fighter.
It's true, man. It's true. He looks crazy. He is fucking crazy. He is crazy. There's points
Yeah,
where he looks like he's gassed out. Nah, he still go. He's still trudging along.
yeah.
But one thing I am fearful of is Ion Cutelaba doing exactly that, and Umar Sy just quick fucking 1-2 straight to the side of his head, and Cutelaba goes down. Cutelaba's been knocked out before. You know, he's been finished. He maybe not like flat out knocked out, but he's been dropped, and then 20 unanswered punches later calls the fight. He did have that really really weird knockout loss against Magomed Ankalaev where he's doing the fucking
They faked it.
drunken master, because Ankalaev is fucking boring, and they called the fight. But Kutalaba was still in that fight. I just think Kutalaba is just one of those dudes who will not stop unless you actually fucking hurt him. And I mean, he went up against a dude who has power in his hands, Modestas Bukauskas, in his last fight and took it all the way to decision.
Mm,
Did he win? No.
it was
But
close.
when it was close, but when you get a dude like Umar Sy who has been fraud checked, and he was fraud checked by the worst person to fraud check him, Alonzo
Yeah,
Menefield. And how
yeah.
did Alonzo Menefield win? He won by taking it to the ground, by fucking
Drowning him.
sub yeah, by drowning him and canceling out that kickboxing by taking him down to the ground. I see Eon kind of implementing the same exact fucking the same exact game plan. So I'm not pick flipping. I'm not pick flipping. Give me this fight going to decision. That I am not picking a fighter. I am going to pick this fight going to decision.
All right. Next fight on the main card, we got the ladies in the co-main.
Hold on. This Friday, I might have an official pick for you guys, but as of right now, I have that fight going to decision.
To be declared. Next fight, you got the co-main women's going at it. Amanda Lemos and Jillian Robertson. So as I mentioned when we were going over quick picks and whatnot, this fight was already supposed to happen a while ago. Let me check for you guys how long ago it was because it kind of matters. December, so last year, and Amanda Lemos has had a problem with grapplers. That's kind of been what feels like her weakness. Is some of these like high level wrestlers and high level grapplers, and that is exactly what Jillian Robertson is. She is a phenomenal BJJ player. She does compete. Can't remember the last time she did compete, but I know that's what she kind of does outside of. Last time was in March 2 years ago, but she still actively trains. And I think she's gonna win this fight. And how she wins it, I'm not sure. I think this would probably go to the scorecards because it's a 3 rounder. But I think she is just going to dominate. I think she's going to dominate the same way Tatiana Suarez did, and that's through just being a a player on the ground. Amanda Lemos had success on the feet against Tatiana Suarez, and that's what really had me worried when I picked Tatiana Suarez in that fight was because Amanda Lemos did have such good success standing. I think if this fight does stay standing, it does favor Lemos. I mean that's just how it's going to be because she is a great striker in the strawweight division for women's. Jillian Robertson, she does have pretty okay hands, but she definitely strikes, set up the grappling, and set up taking things to the ground. So I think this fight does hit the mat. Expect Jillian Robertson to kind of make it her own world and make it her own fight. Um, wouldn't be shocked to see a submission win, however, but I think this one will go to the scorecards because I think Lemos does have a lot of success when she does strike. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I hate to make a pick here because when I'm on Amanda Lemos, she loses. When I bet against her, she wins. When I bet on her, she loses. In the last
Yep.
3 fights, I had her against Verna Jandiroba. She gets bitched. I had her against Lasmin, or I had Lasmin Lucindo. Lasmin Lucindo loses by decision, and I had her against Tatiana Suarez, and she loses to Tatiana Suarez by decision.
Mm.
In this fight, though, I'm going with Julian and Julian, Gillian,
Jillian.
Jillian. I'm going with the Savage. I'm going with the bright red, pink haired chick. I'm going with her.
The
I'm going with
Canadian.
the I'm going with the Canadian over the Brazilian. And exactly like Joe said, surprisingly, the Canadian is better at jiu-jitsu than the Brazilian here.
Mm.
Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought about it for a second and I was like, what the fuck did I just say? I mean Juliana or
Robertson. Rock.
Robertson. It's the same thing with Robertson. I counted Robertson out in every single one of her last 5 fights. I mean, yeah, she lost against Tabitha Ritchie, which is understandable. Tabitha Ritchie is one of the prospects coming up right now. But then I actually took Robertson against Poliana Vanya because why the fuck is Poliana Vanya even in the UFC? But the last 3, I picked against her, and she went out there and showed me why I should never pick against her again.
Yeah.
So I think Robertson is, exactly like what I was saying with a lot of these other fighters. I think she is really solidifying her craft.
Uh-huh.
And she's really turning a new page in this career. And I think if she gets a win over Lemos, obviously that's just a step closer to fighting for that belt, getting closer to the top 5. So give me the up and coming prospect over the gritty vet who's been there, done that. As much as I love Lemos, because even without the grappling and jiu-jitsu, like the high level experience, Lemos reminds me of Charles Oliveira just a little bit. Just a little bit. The female Charles, just
Yeah.
not a whole lot of submission wins.
Yeah.
She has nice fucking hands though. That's what I will say about Lemos is nasty on the feet. She's also tiny though. That is another thing that I'm starting to realize is people say size don't matter in MMA. Well, if your opponent is fucking bigger than you and they also know MMA, it kind of fucking matters. So that's just one thing I want to say.
Yeah. This fight is a ranked fight for both these fighters. Lemos is number 5 in the UFC rankings, even though it says 7 on Topology. I wish when they talk about UFC rankings that they actually have this up to date because it's so silly how it's not current.
Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know that
she is number 5. I just went through a look. Robertson is number, what was it, number 8? Yeah, number 8. So a win here, definitely puts Robinson into that title conversation because Lemos is kind of the top 5 gatekeeper. I mean, she's win loss, and she's somehow number 5 still. So a win here definitely gets Robinson into that conversation. She probably takes Lemos's number 5 spot, and then I mean we can do a little bit of matchmaker. Let's see, strawweight. Who would you give her? Give her Verna or Yan Xiaonan? Xiaonan has lost a few, right? And somehow she's number 4.
Give her Zhao Yan.
Yeah, it's another fighter that kind of struggles on the wrestling side, so it's another kind of fight that should favor Robertson. I mean, as long as she doesn't get her chin popped, because Zhao Nan's fast. But that's it for this fight. Let's get into the main event. Close this out. But before we get into it, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you guys like the video, follow, share, do whatever you got to do to show your support. We appreciate it as always. I mean, we had a TikTok that we posted from last fight, and that thing blew up. So thank you guys for your support on our TikTok channel. It'd be nice to see you guys show some on the YouTube channel as well. We got all these platforms, and we want to see them all succeed with you guys as we push our content. So thank you guys. Let's get into the main event, though. Josh Emmett, Kevin Vallejos. The pick is Kevin Vallejos, and it's probably going to go 5 rounds to a decision.
Yeah.
That's just the thing about Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett has a fucking a granite chin. Ilya Taporia 10-7'd him and did not knock him out. That thing went the distance as well. And Kevin Vallejos is definitely like he is very very similar to Ilia Topuria, with just how clean his boxing is. It is very technical boxing. Um, and yeah, I think he is just gonna set the tone here. I think his jab is just gonna pepper off at Josh Emmett's face. He's gonna make him bloody. He's gonna make him look miserable. And I don't think that's gonna be a problem for him. Um, I just don't see a finish. Kevin Vallejos does not wrestle often. Um, and I don't think he would against Josh Emmett. I think his boxing is good enough. Josh Emmett, I think, will just come and try and throw power shots. I think he's going to try and just get Kevin Vallejos out of there. And that's the thing you got to worry about. He's one of those featherweights who carries different kind of power. I mean, when he connects, he puts guys out. Unfortunately, in his last five, though, he has been on the opposite side of that. He lost by sub to Yair Rodriguez. That was for the interim 3 years ago. Lost to Itzaporia on that decision I just talked about. He beat Bryce Mitchell, and that is like the viral knockout power. You see Bryce
Holy
Mitchell on the
shit.
ground, fucking twitching. What's up?
That was 2 years and 2 months ago.
Time's flying by, dude.
That's
Yeah.
crazy, bro.
Yeah, and then he loses to Laurel Murphy in a 5 round main event fight. That was a pretty boring fight. And then he loses by sub to Yusuf Zalal, who is just an insane submission guy. So you kind of see the recipe to finish Josh Emmett is not through striking, it is through grappling. And so that's why I think this fight's going to go to the scorecards. I think Kevin Vallejos is just going to take this in a 5 round striking match. I'd be very shocked to see him go to any sort of wrestling in this one. But yeah, I expect a lot of big things out of Kevin Vallejos. I mean, he is one of the prospects that is going to be, after this fight, he probably, I mean, is Josh Emmett even still ranked? I'm curious. Is he still a featherweight ranked fighter?
You just
Featherweight,
passed it.
right here. Featherweight. He's number
Oh.
11.
Oh, I was looking at Ilya. I was like, you just passed it.
Vallejos is ranked 2. I mean, like I said, the rankings on here is pretty dumb because they don't show it right. Kevin Vallejos is number 14, and Josh Emmett's number 11. A win here definitely gets Kevin Vallejos into the top 10. It sets up a lot of things. He's been calling out Gene Silva nonstop ever since he lost to him on the Contender Series, and that's the only loss Vallejos has is a decision loss to Gene Silva. Could we be seeing that with the win here?
Well,
I think
imagine.
it's kind of spelling itself out. I think he really might call him out.
I think it is. I think it is kind of spelling itself out. Because I mean, at that point, Gene Silva, you kind of have to shut this guy up. He's been winning since he lost to you.
Yeah.
And he's the way he's been winning against some of these guys too. I mean, that would be okay. I'm not gonna. I know since we're on the topic of it, it's gonna be like, oh, fucking yeah. Right. I've been on this since I found out that Kevin Vallejos his only loss was against Gene Silva.
I've been hoping this fight would happen again.
Yeah, and then seeing him come from the Contender Series, he left the Contender Series, went back to his promotion, got 2 finishes, came to the Contender Series, finishes his opponent, gets another finish, decision against Danny Silva, which was a great fucking fight, and then absolutely bitches Jikadze.
Dude, with that spinning back fist.
This kid is fucking he's gonna tear shit up, bro. He's gonna tear shit up. And once he gets that Gene Silva fight, oh my god, that is going to be
fight.
Cinema. That is going to be such a cinematic fight. And it's gonna be exactly like this fight. No wrestling, no grappling. This is gonna be on the fight. Full 25 minutes, which I hope if he fights Gene Silva, it's a 5-round fight. Which I don't think it's gonna go the full 5 rounds, but I mean, Vallejos lost by decision against Gene Silva. Anyways, let's get into this fight here. I love Josh Emmett. I say this a lot, but I love it. I love him as a fighter. I love his personality. I love his fucking walkout song. I love the way he bitched Bryce Mitchell. But yeah, he's been on the short end of the stick here. He's 1-4 in his last 5. Vallejos, exactly like we were just talking about, he is a monster prospect coming up. Do I see a finish here for Vallejos? Yes, I actually do. And the reason why I say that Josh Emmett is 41. He is
Yeah.
41. He has taken how much damage? Yeah, he didn't really take a whole lot of, punching damage because he got choked out in his last fight, like fucking that.
Yeah, it was such a quick
But
armbar.
other than that, he's fought Leon Murphy, Ilya Taporia, Yair. Yes, Yair submitted him, but Yair is a good striker as well. Josh Emmett has been banged up. He's been only knocked out once against fucking, you wouldn't even believe it. He's been knocked out by, oh, actually, it is kind of believable. What the fuck am I talking about? Jeremy Stevens. Jeremy Stevens was one of the hardest hitting
Yeah.
145ers when he was around, which
Yeah.
is kind of understandable. And he hasn't been knocked out since.
Mm.
But I think Vallejos is gonna knock him out. I think Josh Emmett is gonna get hit with that new up and coming young prospect power.
He's only 24,
You
man.
know,
He's
he's
young.
only 24. He's only 24. I mean, I did not expect him to knock out Chikadze. I didn't expect him to knock out Chikadze.
Yeah, that shocked
And
me when that happened.
see, and like another thing as well, I don't know if I've explained this before, but like when I say knockout, it's not just a quick fucking 1-2, he's out snoring, staring up at the lights. A knockout can mean Josh Emmett's fucking on his hands and knees, and Kevin Vallejos is just landing fucking massive punches to the side of his head. Referee steps in and calls it. I guess it's a technical knockout, TKO, but knockout for me means either or.
Mm.
So I think Vallejos has a chance. I mean, it's a 5-rounder, bro. It's a
Mhm.
5-rounder. How is Josh Emmett gonna keep up? When it comes to the third round, Vallejos is already in for fucking 150 significant strikes, and most of them are going to his dome.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the way Josh Emmett is like he's not young anymore. He's not gonna be fast. He's not gonna have that pop. I see Vallejos, bro, getting inside of his guard, landing fucking more than 5, bouncing out before Josh Emmett even tries to throw something.
Yeah. I think if he knocks him
That's
out, it's a big deal because we haven't seen it in a long
yeah.
time.
Yeah, it would be a huge deal. It would be a huge deal, but in reality, it's kind of expected. You know what I mean? And I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie too. After watching UFC for this long, and then also seeing how some of the shit goes, I've been looking at shit a little bit more differently. Either way, I do highly see a decision win for Vallejos, but I do suspect a finish here. I sniff it, I smell it. It's cooking. It's cooking. It ain't finished yet, but I could
Yeah.
smell it. I could smell the ingredients for it 100%.
Yep.
And
We'll
that's why
see.
I'm picking Vallejos. That's why I'm picking Vallejos in this fight.
Yeah.
It's crazy that he is such a heavy favorite. I mean, it makes sense, but minus 500, some of the shit that I hate. And
Woof.
we could go over to the Cozy Talks page where that's all I have to say for that. One thing I will say, and kind of want to talk to you, Joe, about it, but I guess I'm gonna make the announcement now. We we need to put out more content where we like kind of like just talk about other shit, just like on the side, just like this. Not even like fight, not even like about the event that's coming up, but just like shit about fighting. Because I mean, at the end of the day, we're here to inform you guys, educate you guys, show you things that you guys may not see. I mean, like that Vitor Petrino hand injury rumor. I didn't see shit about that. And I am following so many people on all my social medias who post so much shit about MMA, but Joe knew about that. So that's why you guys should
Shit
watch our
slips through the
YouTube
cracks,
channels.
man.
That's why you guys should watch our YouTube channel. That's why you guys should check out our videos, check out our content, because we're gonna be giving you guys information that you may not see. I
Yeah.
mean, fuck. There was this one fighter who apparently got in a car accident before his fight. Maybe there's a way we could find shit out like that,
You're
and
right.
we'll inform you guys about that
Yeah.
because nobody knew that Buddy got a fucking car accident until after the fight. Anyways, we appreciate you guys for sticking around. If you did stick around this long, or if you had skipped through the video and just, you're taking a shit right now, you're rolling up a blunt, you're making a sandwich.
Good
We
man.
appreciate you. We appreciate you for clicking on our video. And if anything, if you could give us one more favor, click that like button, click the subscribe button, hit the comments, type a letter, type ass, type butt. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Give us a little bit of boost. Overall, though, give us your opinion, give us your thoughts. We appreciate the feedback and we appreciate the support.
Yeah, that is it for the early predictions, guys. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in our next video, which will be where we lock in our final picks and give you some bets. So stay around for that. Until then, though, stay cozy. See you guys in the next one. Peace.